So, of course, a new day has come. And let me tell you about constantly hearing handcuffs. Not constantly as an auditory hallucination, a flashback to being handcuffed, pepper sprayed with a volcano pepper spray until you're suffocating with no rescue inhaler and you're flipping out. But you all didn't want to hear that story because, of course, the officers' entailment of what happened is, accurate compared to mine. Because, your mommy has a chemical imbalance. You're crazy and blah, blah, blah. Right. It looks like the new neighbor's getting her internet installed. Looks like they're going with Ma Bell. It's a little chilly in here. I think I'm going to turn the heat on for a minute to take the chill out of the air. And no, I haven't medicated yet this morning, because guess what? I don't like medicating, to be perfectly honest. It's not that I hate it, but who in their right mind would want to be medicated? Pain medication, pain management. It really is no fun when you're an actual patient. It becomes a headache just like every other thing in the world. This is nicotine. Unfortunately, I am a drug addict in that area. Zoloft, I'm telling you, Zoloft was the gateway drug for me. I had been hazed by my family and older kids with cannabis and alcohol at least. I'd say at least that I can remember, at least 2 to 3 times by the time they put me on Zoloft when I was 12 or 13. After Zoloft, nicotine, stripping, it was crazy. All because they were not satisfied that I had a problem with their dumbass bullshit. In religion, with that crazy ass no television, you will believe what we tell you to believe or you're going to get fucked up. To sex, all men like that sometimes. And, it's inappropriate to talk about it because they're doing you a favor and they'll kick your ass. And it's only water vapor. I know I talk about the same stuff repeatedly, but it's all interconnected in one way or another. Why is it that it feels like I'm being moved up a flight of stairs in a wheelchair or something? Probably flashbacks to them fucking me up when I was a kid. And just like they did in Rosemary's Baby, laying her in that bed naked so the devil can rape her. My family was so sick, man, you have no clue. And the ones who were halfway normal wouldn't do anything about it. I wonder why. Herbal tea, it's not going to cut it. Well, today, pain isn't that bad. I feel strange. But the blessing going out this morning is thank you, God, for no nausea. There are a handful of symptoms that go along with all of this that drive me so fucking crazy. I could rip my hair out all the time. And of course, I look funny and I feel like shit because guess what? I took Valium yesterday. Just like I cooked their food, the babies' food for yesterday, the fur babies. I finally fell asleep after taking Percocet and Valium. I think I finally fell asleep around 4 or 4:30. All those medications always had the exact opposite effect on me. I remember I accidentally mixed Robitussin with NyQuil when I was a kid and so sick I couldn't breathe. My parents didn't give a shit. The combination of those two things mixed together, I flipped out. And not like going crazy on people. I just, what's going on? What's happening? Of course, like I said, my parents didn't care. They just saw me as, honestly, they just saw me as an expense that, well, you know, they loved me in their own way. They just saw me as an expense. Like right now, it feels like I'm being rocked back and forth. I mean, I know I rock back and forth a lot. If they hadn't played in with that religious bullshit, it would have been a hell of a lot better. Like I said, one person's heaven is another person's hell. Them trying to make me believe that my mother had killed me and that I was in hell for being a fag and that they were the... You cannot begin to imagine the depth of depravity that they went to make that fucking sadistic story stick in my head. All because they had done their stupid shit. You know, honestly, forgive me for my language. If you find that offensive compared to my story, I don't know what to think of you. In my opinion, that's pretty fucking sickening. Being more offended by language than a child being bludgeoned, raped, poisoned, when it wasn't being starved, and locked out of its own house, underage, just for being gay. But, you know, Bobby Gollenstein, Stocky Wood, all those, you know, big important people in my family, how in the hell could that have happened to you? I'll tell you fucking how it happened. Oh well. That was my mouse. I get very upset knowing that, yeah, those people were in my family. And while I was shoveling shit by hand, they didn't even send Christmas cards. While I was cleaning up Donald's maggot overflowing pots of vegetable soup while he was signing off on, you know, practicing law, those assholes wouldn't even give me the time of day on a personal level. It was just, you know, you're here for us to, you know, what we need. Really? I'm just here for what you all need. That's what it is, huh? Y'all better not need much then. Herbal sleepy time tea. It's not going to cut it for the morning, I can tell you that much. The peppermint in it, it's nice. Chamomile and peppermint. Well, at least the pain isn't that bad today. So far. They tell people in chronic pain not to cling to it. Don't focus on it. Don't think about it. It'll go away. You people are delusional. I was told so let me tell you why I sit here and do this. It's not because I'm trying to be combative. It's because when I feel someone grab that wrist and go to wrap it behind my back as if they were going to rape me, that really annoys me. Taking the time to understand the person you fucked up and caused to commit suicide is helpful. So I'd be more than happy to demonstrate bursting the temporal arteries publicly. You know, if these people claim that what they did was completely right, raping children and all. What you're doing on a court. Yeah, Bobby Gollenstein's penis. It's a little bit thicker than mine, but it's shorter from my memory. Stockton's, well, should I continue, or are you people just going to sit there like idiots calling me a liar? Either way, I could care less. Couldn't, actually. So as I said, while they were vacationing in New Zealand and Australia and Hawaii and Canada and Colorado and Nevada and everywhere else distributing that fucking sick-ass goddamn pornography, oh yeah, I'm sure we'll get the truth out of Debbie about it, her on her goddamn Ativan. I'm sure Taylor and Karen will tell the goddamn truth about it too. Anyway, the Canadians were asking for live shows. I think I've already talked about this. Back when Patrick and Christy were courting each other from afar over these new age scrying devices and what is known as the interweb. What a tasty insect. Now let me wrap you up nice and tight, my dear, for later. I have to make it funny for me to survive. That's not a threat. If they don't find it funny, boo fucking who. Grow up. I didn't find having my goddamn skull fractured very goddamn funny. Especially by a bunch of circle-jerking perverts using comprehend to cover the fucking disgusting shit up. And yes, shit up was voluntary. The rest of it wasn't. But see, kids like Kyle Marinero, they were allowed to have the Tourette's diagnosis, and everybody had to abide by it because they were football, they were involved. Pieces of faggot shit like me? Oh no. Just like with Colin Trapp. Not to call him out or anything, but kids like him are entitled to diagnoses and appropriate medications. Kids like me, you're crazy. You're asking to go to the nurse because you're breaking out in hives and you look like you're about to have an allergic reaction and die. God, I guess I can sign the whole note to let you go to the nurse. Christy Campbell one day. Or no, maybe it was Shiley Rose. I had to go twice in one day because my hives had gotten that bad. But the bullying was that bad at Mason County, and they wouldn't do a goddamn thing about it. Knowing I went to school with people like Bob Tribby's son, Blake. Fortunately, Blake was one of the nicer people to me. Sometimes he would even go out of his way to speak to me. He wasn't one of the jock douche assholes. Then again, you know, no, I shouldn't say most, some of the law enforcement blah, blah, blah kids were brought up right and behaved the way they were supposed to, while the other ones went around beating kids up because my dad's a cop. Yeah, your dad's a crooked cop, apparently, because of your behavior. When you think about it, the jailer really doesn't do anything other than no offense, appropriate funding, then let all their little, chief deputies and deputy jailers and assistants do the work while they do, go and look at me and Kathy Roberts under the Christmas tree. Aren't we pretty? Yes, Lisa Geary, you and Kathy Roberts and those two other women under that huge Christmas tree in Jefferson County. Oh, it took my breath away. And that's another thing. The cops are ever so grateful for social media because they can invade privacy without it technically being an invasion. You people should be more careful about what you post publicly. Yeah, so should you dumbasses. Officer Merrill's off-duty drinking? Well, the Silvas and their off-duty getting fucked up publicly. Well, the Werlines and their cannabis bullshit. Trent coming to smoke me out and talk some sense into me that time. Well, Sheriff Boggs, Commissioner McKay, Lisa Geary, and Kim Razor being in the presence of federally illegal substances while campaigning. Delicious food and good shit. But I'm just a poor old peasant. Just a civilian who doesn't know nothing. That's not me hating on anybody or making fun of anybody. That's because they treat me so unintelligently, or they treat me as if I have such unintelligence. I'm not intelligent enough. I'm intelligent enough to know whatever. Perfect example. Deborah Wood, Donald's wife, my aunt, blood aunt. You sit in that chair and just watch television while I take a nap. Get your ass in the goddamn bedroom and close the door. I'm not going to rob you. I don't want to know what fucking junk I'm going to find to have to clean up next. But I'm not going to sit here because your TV sucks. Just like that day. You sit there and take a nap while I'm... you sit there while I take a nap. I can't help but go and try to help and do things where I can. It's just who I am. I used to get beat up by them for not doing it. And she had mentioned, oh, Danny, Bud's brother Danny. Danny's been coming around and helping. Oh, I bet he has. I bet him and Bud both have. Seeing whatever good shit they can get. That's how they roll, bitch. Me and Danny just cleaned that whole pantry. I went and opened the door and I saw a bottle of Mr. Clean on every shelf and on the floor. I thought the hell you just cleaned this goddamn pantry. Took me maybe 30 minutes to organize it and clean the floor area because the dog had pissed under it, the doors. Now, come in here, bitch. No, I never called my aunt a bitch. I refused to use that phrase with her because Donald would call her a bitch while pushing her around. Anyway, come here, bitch. See this? This is how this closet was supposed to be cleaned. I tried to keep the soda up on this bottom shelf, but it all wouldn't fit there, so here's a case on the floor. You have 5 bottles of Mr. Clean. Now they're all grouped together so you can see easily how many you have. Pick up another one and I'm taking it home with me. I may have overstepped my bounds with the bathroom. I know how hard it is losing someone. I really do. But I also know how hard it is keeping their stuff around. Between going through it so many times, I found the easiest solution is get rid of it. But I want to keep this suit just like it is. Might even put it on a pillow person, if necessary. But the bathroom. Get in there and clean my bathroom. Sure. Man, this must have been Donald's drawer. She'll get over it. Having that stuff around so that you cry at every turn is not healthy. Well, I need to get something out of that drawer. Oh my God, there's this razor. And that's how it is, I already know. Just like with these vitamins. Hell, they were all expired. He bought from Puritan's Pride, too. Buy 5, get 3 free. Wow, what a deal. And then they're expired by the time you get to the 8th bottle. Just like that prescription of antibiotics that she had. Now this is how good of a person I am. I forget what Dr. Gollenstein had him on. Tramadol or Nucynta. Had him on Nucynta too. No wonder he went downhill. I found that leftover prescription and saw it and I thought, what fucking doctor would be evil enough to put an ancient person with mobility problems on this? I know what it did to me. Toilet. But the bigger picture was Deborah L. Wood. I forget what kind of antibiotics they were. It looked like maybe 2 or 3 had been used from it from 1998. What in the goddamn hell is the point of this shit? That whole drawer was full of old medicines. She was out that day. I said, this shit's going down the goddamn toilet, and the rest of them are going to the furnace to burn. Let her cry. Let her cry about me taking executive action and helping straighten that fucking mess up in her house. I can't tell you how bad it hurt my feelings that time that I turned their guest bedroom back into a guest bedroom, only for her to junk it up within a month again. I said, that's the last time I help. You wonder why Tina won't come clean. You wonder why Tammy won't come help. These are the reasons. It's not because we don't love you. It's because we get aggravated that we work our goddamn asses off to make your home a showplace, only for you to trash it like a fucking bunch of kids. Take care of your own goddamn selves, especially with that fucking expense account and state and federal funding coming into your husband's office. Like I said, I used to sit there and be like, you girls just sit your sorry asses right there. I'm going to the milk barn to get some feed sacks and we'll sew them together. Mom used to make us wear feed sacks for dresses. At least you all had the cool cloth feed sacks. Not these crazy things made out of this interwoven plastic. Or whatever the fuck it is. A mouse chews one little niblet hole in it, and there goes the whole bag. I haven't medicated today yet. I'm drowning in my snot, and I don't feel like it. We think you need this medication, Rosemary. Really? You want to give me what, sedatives? While I'm pregnant? Sounds about like something they do. Obviously, I'm not pregnant. But what fucking doctor would give tranquilizers to a pregnant woman? Probably barbiturates back then. Any more talk of witchcraft, Russell, and it's off to hospital. Well, as long as Susie Pratt holds my hand. She already fed them before going to work. I already fed them. Thank God she didn't fucking wake me up. Just fucking falling asleep. Yeah, I finally fell asleep around 4:30 or 5, and I'm already awake. I don't know if I'll walk today. It's quite overcast, and it felt cool. Like I said, I'm drowning in my own tear snot. Pain isn't that bad. I'm just upset at so many things. As if they hadn't driven me crazy enough. All right, that's enough heat now. Good God, now it's hot. What I want to do is take the chill out of the air. I thought they already had Alta Fiber installed at that house. It takes them a while to do it because they have to run a direct new fiber line from the pole to the house. Then the fiber thing's weird. I guess since the vehicle's not in the garage, I can show you, even though I think I already have. So normally you just have like one thing. Well, they run that fiber line from the pole to the house, and then this thing gets installed. It's like, I guess, a pre-router, and like it does the internet and the telephone and the TV. But see that little thing, that little Nokia thing? Mine has 2 Ethernet cables plugged into it like it's routed, because there's a secondary line running the office that isn't connected to the home broadband, but I have that line disconnected now because those people didn't even know what they were talking about. When I was working for Teleperformance, they were like, you have to have a separate secure line for us. No, I don't. You people are running it over a VPN, and no one is going to be accessing it from my home. But thankfully, Cincinnati Bell let me terminate the account without, charging me penalties because I was opening up a second account when I opened the first one. So I got a good deal on it. So there's that thing. They call it the brain. And then there's the router. And I think it's starting to go bad, unfortunately. But it has been a couple of years. And then the main television box, which is small. And you can either hardwire or use the additional boxes. You can either hardwire them or allow them to run wirelessly. And with that silly, I think that the router is starting to go bad. But see, there's the wireless thing. But of course, if the router drops the signal, those go out. If they were hardwired, they wouldn't. But I don't feel like running wiring in this house. It's not mine. Like I've tried to explain to her, I'm like, thank you for being so gracious and generous. You say that it's our house, but I can't help but know that it's not. So whatever. And the whole reason that was instilled in me, well, yeah, you guessed it. My family forced me to work for food and shelter. And no, I don't put on a new nightgown every day. I shower at least once a day. Doing all that laundry is a waste of water, a precious resource in this world that is dwindling far faster than any of them tell you. That's why I believe in gray water tanks and things like toilets. Like if I could build a brand new house with, pretty much no monetary limit, like I said, the main part where the dining room, formal living room, study, library, kitchen, main living thing, like the great room thing, there would be like a giant, big, ornamental greenhouse atrium, allowing light and such to come in. Totally, best glass possible so that heat and cold transfer were kept at a minimum. And then I would have my own little small attached botanical greenhouse right off the kitchen for herbs and stuff, because I like cooking with fresh herbs. Peppermint is good for nausea. Chives, good in anything. Rosemary is good for when you're ill. It has I don't want to say what properties, but it has healing properties. Then, the master suites in 2 separate wings at least, with a huge open courtyard. But my idea was, be wealthy enough to have, this huge mansion-like home. That way, even if I can't stand my family members, we can all, pool all of our shit together, kind of like Amish people do, but in the same household, and, wipe each other's asses as we get older and decrepit versus having to go into a nursing home or, rely upon one family member or another. That was just my idea. Hell, we can't stand each other sometimes. That's why the master suites would be, literally like suites in a hotel. Walk into a nice sitting area with its own little, outdoor area. Have its own built-in small laundry, its own built-in office, its own built-in walk-in closet, its own small linen closet, its own huge bathroom with, if necessary, one of those, sit-in tubs concealed. All kinds of cool ideas. It would take a lot to build a house like that, though. And in theory, if money was no object, not only would it have a basement, it would have at least one sub-basement. With lead-lined concrete galore. Its own bomb shelter. That's not me being a doomsday prepper or whatever. Hell, if I'm going to go down into the sub-basement during a time of turmoil, I know I'd be safe. Then again, the way I look at it now, it's like, you know what? Somebody could shoot me walking along the street. What good goddamn difference does it make? I'm happy enough with material shit that doesn't matter. Where I am unhappy, surprisingly, is physically. Not like, oh, I'm lonely. Fuck that shit. I can't stand having to take anything for my pain, to be perfectly honest. Cannabis, when you're using it for recreational purposes, which, I'm not going to lie, there were times that I used it recreationally, is a lot different when you're in so much pain. You want that pain to be alleviated, and you found an alternative treatment that actually works. Only for people to keep clinging to that past propaganda because they're viewing your emotional health and claiming, oh my God, with your family's history, it's psychosis. We told you. Let me tell you what causes what you call psychosis. My family molesting me and pimping me out for more drugs and alcohol in a date rape scheme scenario. Law enforcement refusing to acknowledge it. My family who had produced me in pornography to the point I deserved royalties from the fucking productions. Refusing to even send a Christmas card. Sitting judges as prosecuting attorneys when all this disgusting shit was going on, not doing a goddamn thing but getting off. That's what causes this. Because believe it or not, I punish myself for telling my story because that's how we were all made to believe. Hush, hush now, If you need to talk about that, come talk to one of us or behind closed doors. It is inappropriate to talk about that stuff publicly. We didn't mean to hurt you. And I say it like that because that's how sick they are. That was an accident. Shut up. You people are sick, and I am going to tell every goddamn last detail to the story, including sitting Judge Stockton Wood ejaculating on my goddamn face. So excuse me if I become a little bit upset that this was covered for 30 years and some goddamn bitch who doesn't even know me well enough to make that call had me suicided. Oh well, hooray. Now let the goddamn family play the victims all their fucking lives. The same goddamn sick pieces of shit who pimp me out for more drugs and alcohol from people like the Brindleys. Oh well. So huge thank you to Kim Razor and her dumbass definition of due process. Guess who else they used to pimp me out to in law enforcement? Signing off on their goddamn version of what happened. But oh fucking well. I don't feel like taking any more goddamn Valium. The least the sick pieces of shit could do is correct the fucking medical records. This is me being upset. It's not me being manic. Just because it flipped like a switch doesn't mean anything. It is very upsetting that I had people that could help and they refused because they were profiting from it. That is the definition of human trafficking. Well, we know about what you were doing once or twice, Percocet. Do you? That's called coercion and entrapment, especially from the people in the Wesleyan Church grooming Patrick Boggs for his goddamn ascent to the throne. Now do you understand why Nancy Brown, People's Bank, Fleming County, was a parishioner in our home church? We need to know everything you know about Tammy and Tina and Tracy and Trent. They're all pot-smoking hippies. Don't talk about our family that way. Oh, I forgot. Nan told me I had to be careful about what I said around you people. Too goddamn bad. Get over it. Just like that day. Let him lie. That's how good my goddamn memory is. Let's see if Tammy, the good one, can remember. All of us being in the pool that day. Me, Tina, Tracy, Tammy, and Tiffany. You all play Eve, I'll be Adam. Poor Tiffany, it scared her half to death. Do you all remember that, yes or no? I do. That's another sign of being traumatized sexually as a child, expressing that disgusting humor. And then, of course, I guess Linda said something to Nan about me being a pervert or something. Nan was like, you have to be careful around them. You know, they're different than we are. Yeah, they're a bunch of fucking backstabbing hypocrites. So as I said, with Hobe Sound, Florida and all, I'm sure all of them, including Linda and her family, are glad they put me in with the good, wholesome Bible beaters by now. Nanette wasn't home that often, and Shell quit going to church before I did. Hell, where are we going today? Hopefully it's not one of the places I don't like. We're going to Michigan too? Cool! Don't tell your Uncle Bill how fast I was driving his truck. Shh, don't tell Nan how fast I was driving the Cadillac. That truck, that big old Dodge Ram, I think it probably had a 5.7 in it. I don't know what they had back in them then. Two-wheel drive, non-locking differential, V8 automatic. That thing would fly. Her Eldorado would fly. All the kids, as I've said, all the kids used to make fun of me. How in the hell can you like a Cadillac? That is an old person's car. Get in. Fasten your seatbelt. I'll start it out like it's a golf cart, like it won't even move. Then hammer it. Did you get whiplash? Might not be as hardcore as Troy Lemming's newly bored out Torino. But they were pretty fucking neck-snapping. Man, Troy Lemming took me for a ride in his Torino right before he fully finished it. He had me about to piss myself. Especially when he first hit it real hard. Cool. Ah, well, hello. My mother told him, "You be careful with him." Oh, I'll be careful with him, Carolyn. Don't tell Lisa. No, Troy and I didn't do anything. I flirt with him like a crazy person because I know it annoys him. Hopefully it annoys his woman, too. That's how bros pick on each other, man. Just like with Mr. Horde. Jeff, Smoothie. I'm surprised he doesn't shave his pits, too. Give a damn if they have a badge or not. If they can't laugh about it, they need therapy. And I'll have one of my ex-husband doctors sign off on it. Yes, I know that's how your all's game works, with those cool little forms. Fun fact, any doctor can sign them. And as I said, I was married into medical a few times. That's not a threat. It's just reality that they threw in my face. Fun fact, we can have any one of our goons sign off on this paperwork. Yeah, I know all about it. I suggest you don't meet my ex-husbands in medical. Don't want something signed off on you, do you? And I wouldn't pull something like that because that is fairly underhanded and unethical. I'll sit and talk about it publicly, though. They threw that in my face one time. Fun fact, any doctor can sign off on, you being crazy and needing mental health care and or rehab. Yes, I know any doctor can sign off on those forms. So don't make me reach out to one of my ex-husbands. Just like with Joseph Morris, wanting to put me in hospice care when he was with Kentucky One Health in Mason County before fleeing to Fayette County. That's normally how it goes. They come to Mason County, they sit and have their circle jerk shit, they prove themselves or they don't, and then they go to Fayette County. Just like with Sean Hicks from the date rape bars downtown. Just FYI. Aflac was another patient of Dr. Morris's, if memory serves me correctly. Seersucker! That's what I was thinking of. Joseph Morris liked his seersucker clothing, but that one pair of slacks he had that looked like seersucker were kind of sharp. He was kind of odd. A little too eccentric or something for me. Dad loved him, but my father was that type of man too. That time he had to slice this thing open and drain it and ask for a vegetable tray, I thought I'd get sick and I have a strong stomach. He was like, "I'm just trying to make you laugh." I'm like, "It's not funny. These things, these cysts that just form right where my jaw is, leaking all that crazy whatever junk. If you'll notice when you're draining that, those solid-like particulate matter in that has to be something coming from these jaw joints. He asked for a vegetable tray because it was that full. My whole face was swollen. I'm like, you know what? I don't have time to go to the ear, nose, and throat doctor and have them remove the cyst yet again, on the cyst, only for it to grow back. Slice the damn thing open after numbing it and drain it. Man, where's the vegetable tray when you need it? That's not funny. He was another one that was like, the DA's not dropping in on me because of you. You girls like to gossip way too much. It's not my fault that kids of employees of Mason County were sneaking shit out of my medicine cabinet. As if I was going to tell them no, after they'd already been threatening to kill me since I was 6. But thanks for playing along for a chronic pain patient being threatened for their shit, asshole. And to Dr. Patty, prescribing Seroquel off-label, bitch. Like I said, Deputy Timmy Mitchell's cousin, second cousin, the nigger-hating ones. Chris, he likes nipple play. Hopefully Ryan's not mad enough at me, and he laughs his hairy ass off. His hairy ass. And hopefully Chris turns so Reddy explodes. Girls talk, you know. There is nothing wrong with a man liking nipple play. People should enjoy the bodies God gave them instead of making each other feel like shit for who they love. That is one of the most sickening things of humanity. Hating on people for who they love. It's one thing if it's just pure carnal lust. I don't agree with that either, surprisingly. Probably, you know, my religious upbringing, what they had done to me, etc. But at the same time, if two men truly love each other and can be productive members of society without destroying it, who the fuck cares? Making it so secretive. Oh, if men need that sometimes, they're supposed to do it, you know, on their own time, alone, not talking about it ever, only letting it build up inside of them to make them even worse for their true home life. Yeah, that makes a lot of fucking sense, doesn't it? Nobody gives a shit anymore. And if they do, it's based off of propaganda. It is not a sign of we don't respect your authority or we're trying to be disrespectful. Happy workers are healthier workers. Healthier workers are more productive workers. More productive workers are better consumers. Better consumers make for a stronger economy. A stronger economy makes for how goddamn difficult is it to fucking stand. Just like I said, huge kudos to Amazon for saying to hell with cannabis in the drug testing, but then contracting out their delivery services. Before they legalized, or before they told the world that they would no longer count cannabis against their employees, you know, you could go on their site and find at least 20 listings for the warehouses, the grocery thing. it was hard to find at-home customer service with them because their jobs are good. Now, every time I look, there's maybe 2 or 3 openings, period, between Erlanger, Hebron, Westchester, Springdale. And I think it's in part because they're accepting people who use cannabis, as they should. I'm not saying that people who are out on the road should be allowed to use cannabis willy-nilly, especially if they're just, well, I decided to use cannabis today. Believe it or not, any drug with that type of effect, they call it tolerance. But you just build up your psychology, your brain, your mentality. You adapt to it, which is why I go back to the original argument. No chronic pain patient wants to medicate. And if they do, they should be questioned more so about addiction. I used to skip my morphine all the goddamn time, just to be able to have a bowel movement. That's not trying to be sickening, that's just trying to detail my journey after being fucking bludgeoned and raped and left for dead that time. I used to skip my morphine all the time, just so I could have a bowel movement, only to go through withdrawal and want to die. So these doctors touting that the long-acting are safer? Shut up, shut up, shut up. You should listen to your patients more instead of being so goddamn arrogant. Just like with Patty Positek, it would have been different if I was taking a whole Percocet 5 milligram tablet once or twice a day. I was taking one 5 milligram Percocet, it being scored, breaking it in half, then taking that half and breaking it in half. Just enough to take the edge off if my back starts to lock. Much like, here's a perfect example, running the tiller through the garden. With my health, who cares if I fall down and hurt something? Somebody will drive along and find me. Tiller. Oh my God, my back's locking. I thought the little house dog was going to have to drag me back to the house that day by the time I was done with the tiller. Only for doctors like Patty Positek to call me a drug seeker. Oh fucking well. So again, let me tell you why I killed myself due to use of force and then failing to even record it. All because of their stupid sick shit with, he brought that shit home with me. With him. This house belongs to my mother now. So you all go right ahead and judge the situation. My family was sick. They wanted me dead. They got their goddamn wish, didn't they? With my sister and their goddamn firearms and drugs, hooray. With the Crawfords and their cannabis and guns, hooray. Kim Razor didn't issue a firearms prohibition for them, did she? Cannabis and firearms, a felony. But the bitch took resources from them, so of course they're okay. Oh well. Yes, Michelle Crawford, the day that I went there for Sunday dinner. Their house smelled like a dispensary. I asked them if they owned firearms. She said yes. But Kim Razor took their goddamn resources for her fucking campaign, didn't she? Oh well. So, forgive me if I find her ethics questionable. And forgive me if her fucking actions caused me to kill myself. Oh well. So like I said, Kim Razor and her ties to MCDC, Foxwood Wood and Nestle, child porn productions, and accepting campaign resources from people in the drug trade who possess firearms, all the while taking my Second Amendment rights away. Take the goddamn guns. I hate them, but don't forget that I know and I'm going to point it out, bitch. Well, Governor Patton pardoned him. It's different. Yeah, right. I don't think Governor Patton's goddamn pardon goes to date rape and firearms with cannabis patients. But yeah, just allow Kim and Stocky to run it their way. Oh well. The Crawfords. Sad sob story. They can't afford their electric bill, but they can afford to drive yet another new Challenger. Something's just not adding up. Now, with her stupid-ass comment of, we don't have laced marijuana products in this area, how much are they throwing your way, honey? I'm going to submit an open records request, and technically they have to grant it. I can sue them if they don't, and win. Doesn't matter if it's concealed information. So while I was getting raped by the same goddamn people the Crawfords and their organization accepted resources from, yeah, you all can take your goddamn fucking organization and your tax-exempt bail status and shove it up your ass. Including Representative. Whatever. So them threatening to kill me for suing them, yeah, oh well. So, shall I talk more about Matt Lewis and his ties to Mason County's finest and the meth? We're doing a crazy check. Yeah, let me tell you about Randy Thomas and her friends doing these stupid-ass crazy checks because of words on a computer. Let me tell you about Randy Thomas and cannabis, Nathaniel Schneider and heroin, and Scott Poe and his rapey goddamn fucking homophobia and transphobia, and Lieutenant Jeremy Poe and reports about women coming forward about his sorry ass. But you all don't want to hear that, do you? Oh well, hooray. So when I say I tried to kill myself because of a bunch of fucking rapey perverts failing to take a goddamn accurate statement, oh well. Every time I call MPD to try to request records or file a report, they transfer me to Scott Poe's fucking rapey goddamn family. I wonder why. Screw fucking you. Oh well, hooray. Thank fucking you. Patrick Boggs wouldn't do a goddamn thing. Breathing treatments before I start flipping out even worse. One, of course, that one's on zero. Oh well, they're only $300 an inhaler. An albuterol or a nebulizer would be cheaper, but of course, doctors argue with me on that every damn time. A nebulizer. One nebulizer probably cost about as much as 1 month of Symbicort. And those little vials of stuff you put in them are way cheaper than these things. Just one of these albuterol inhalers is like $90. So whereas I sit and try to save in healthcare costs by making cool suggestions, my physicians claim they think I'm not ready for a nebulizer. Yeah, believe whatever in the goddamn hell you want. Now listen to the handcuffs, cuffs. Oh well, watch me sit and burst my temporal artery because of a bunch of fucking perverts. I hate when my hand grabs the keyboard. Because I have to brace myself. My hand catches it, lifts it, drops it. Like I said, every time I tried to contact Maysville Police Department to submit open records requests or gain information legally, who did they transfer me to? Scott Poe's goddamn rapey fucking family. No, I do not want to speak to Lieutenant Jeremy fucking Poe. There are reports from women against him. I demand to speak to a different goddamn officer. It is not too fucking difficult to make that request and it be fucking abided. Or is Van Ingram too goddamn upset I started talking about his goddamn hand and all this sick shit? So, shall I start trying to describe Van's body again, or are you people not fucking paying attention, honey? Oh well, I got tired of being raped. I got tired of being called a liar. I got tired of being called a drug addict. By the same goddamn sick pieces of shit who had fractured my skull. Oh well. So to Kim Razor and her hand in child porn and rape, and Stockton Wood ejaculating on my goddamn face, working with Scott Poe, every goddamn one of them can kiss my fucking sorry ass. Oh well, hooray. So, as I stated, the suicidal people, because of their fucking rapey dumbassery, they deserve to be held accountable. Including Lisa Andrews and her goddamn drug sales with MCSO too. So, when I burst my temporal artery because of their rapey shit and failing to report it, oh well, that's called fraud, that's called official misconduct. Kim Razor taking money from threatening gun-possessing, drug-purchasing people who had taken money from child porn-producing pieces of shit. Shall I read it again? Engaging in improper political campaign activities. I'm pretty sure that would encompass taking money from the drug trade. Obstruction of justice, putting me on suicide-causing medication so I couldn't talk about Bob Tribby and her other friends. Stockton Wood ejaculating on my face. I couldn't talk about it if I had died, which I tried to kill myself thanks to her signature. Perjury or filing a false document. She signed right off on Tina Jones Wallace's thing without the 30 seconds required by law. Allowing family, social, or political relationships to influence judicial decision-making. Well, I'm pretty sure Malibu Barbie and Patrick contracting with NCDC for inmate medical care and them trying to cover that whole stupid shit up is a tie. Just like my brother-in-law working for the Buffalo Trace area, blah, 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 and Primary Plus being another social tie. Just like me talking about Bob and Blake being a family tie. So while my mother smothered me and left me for dead, that was seen as not psychotic because she had postpartum depression. Your depression because you're a man is unacceptable, was what they told me. So, it's not that hard to burst the temporal artery, and you can die in seconds. Oh well. Huge thank you to the goddamn perverts in the school district embezzling money and raping me and them not doing a goddamn thing about it, especially when Bob Tribby was at MCDC. And the drugs flowing through the school district with his kid and families Oh well, pretty sure that's a goddamn tie to Kim Razor's judicial misconduct. Want to watch me do it? Now I can feel something wrapping around this. Get the hell away from me. They would come in and sit and poke and prod, and when I wouldn't allow them to shove their dicks in me, wham! That's not self-harm. They took a blunt force object, hit me from the front, cracking my skull. Bobby Gollenstein's disgusting little penis? Oh well. 20 years of circuit and district court with a drunk flashing his dick. Oh well. Let the state of Kentucky have fun reviewing all those goddamn files. Let Kim Razor have fun explaining covering this goddamn sick shit up. As I said, let Kim Razor have a good time explaining cleaning this goddamn shit up. Hooray, oh well. So let me tell you about Hamilton County Sheriff's Department, starting with Deputy Fred Lang, who was on the road duty, and moving right on. Or is that too close to the goddamn bone for you people who suicided me here as well? You know, Nanette with her beeper and all. Oh well. So like I said, Lieutenant Zeke taking the beeper woman's statement and not mine. Because they didn't understand Tourette's syndrome. Because they didn't understand behavior. I have to self-flagellate now. Oh well, hooray. So huge thank you. Charmaine McGuffey and Uncut Cops in Bethel, Ohio, circle jerking with kids. Oh well. No, Terry Kitchen, I do not want to see you ejaculate into a fucking cup and then drink it.